But yeah, today's random ass topic is
I'm pregnant.
no, it's not that.
Alright, good.
But it's and it's a spiritual discussion, most
Oh yeah,
definitely.
you did say that. My bad.
Good grief.
It is a spiritual discussion because, like I said before in a previous podcast or another video or something like that, I think God is in control of the freaking job market, bro, because there is no reason why we are unemployed right now. You know, being 25 and 26 years old, we should be able to have jobs. We graduated college, we did the thing America wanted us to do, and yet we are still pretty much left to die, which really sucks. But like even with me not working right now, it's kind of depressing, really, and it's really saddening. You know, I'm trying my best, applying left and right, getting interviews this time around. My interview level has personally went up, and I know yours has too as well, Jay. And Blue, I'm guessing yours will be back in a minute or whatever.
Yeah.
But anyway, I don't know. I'm so emo right now again because I actually went to a job interview today, and you know they were hyping it up. They were hyping that company up, and they were like, "Yeah, you're definitely gonna get this job, TJ. Blah blah blah. It's gonna be primarily personality driven." I went in there. I knocked the socks off everybody. Everybody was cool. Don't get me wrong, but I still didn't get the opportunity, unfortunately, which sucks. I mean, I'm moving on, of course. You know, it is what it is. But it got me thinking, like, as soon as I got back home a couple of hours ago, because, you know, in the scriptures and, you know, what our whole group and discussion things are all about, you know, how God has something in store for you that's way bigger than you can probably even imagine. You know, you should trust God's plans is what I'm getting at, because his plans are always true and they're always gonna happen, right? So it got me thinking, what kind of plans does he have in store for us in particular, like all three of us? You feel me?
World domination in Gundams,
It's
Ferraris, Lamborghinis, those kinds of things.
it's gotta be something epic, bro, because I was thinking about it. I'm like, well, if this job opportunity wasn't in your plan, which was a really good opportunity for me personally, you know, what else do you have that's coming in the near future? So it got me excited, of course. And yeah, that's what I wanted to talk about today. And I guess another thing of what I wanted to talk about today, why am I at age 26 filling out unemployment? That is very intriguing to me, and it's kind of saddening, man. It really sucks. But yeah, that's what I want to talk about today. I'm a little down. I'm not even gonna hide it. I can be true with you guys. Like, I'm a little, you know, disheartened right now. But I mean, I'll bounce back like tomorrow. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I feel you on that. I've been down, honestly, just kind of like you, kind of on and off. Where it's you start kind of asking those questions like, well, maybe it's me, maybe I'm doing something wrong, and then you kind of get to that point where there's conflicting advice where it's like, you know, no, you got to stay the course. You figured out what works. It worked once, it'll work again. And then there's like the other half of it where it's like, if it's not working, you got to be willing to change. And it's like, okay, where do I fall on the spectrum? And then other people tell you, well, you can't rely on the job market, so you got to do your own thing. But then when you're doing your own thing, you can't look for a job. And then people will tell you that you need to have an income. And it's just like, it's like this paralyzing cross section of, I have responsibilities and I want to chase my dreams. And it's like, I mean, I agree with you. I feel like there's definitely something in the works for us, but on a different note, I think it's incredibly frustrating for me that there's like this, it's almost like the job market or whatever it may be has this dichotomy where it's like you either chase your dreams and you go hungry, or you buy into this system and, you know, you'll get to what you really want to do later. And it's just like, I mean, like, for instance, I mean, I did 3 months ago, and that ended up not panning out for the reasons that it did. I mean, before that, the job that I had was full of crazy people, except for like two people. So there was that. But it's like, I mean, not to brag or whatever, but it's like, yo, I'm great at what I do. I don't think I'm the best writer in the world by any means. I don't even think I'm in like any kind of noticeable category right now. But if you're just looking at like the average of what everybody in the world can do, I'm definitely like at the I'm like at the entry gates of like the people who are like grandmasters at the top of the mountains, and I'm like at least at the bottom of the mountain, starting to climb my way up. I'm not like people out in the valley or whatever who are just like, yeah, we're writers because we put stuff on Facebook. Like, nah, I at least take the craft seriously. But it's like, I don't know. It's like, at what point do you not even stop trying? But it's like, where do you? What point do you just feel like you kind of want to get off the ride? I guess, where it's like, obviously you need a job, but if anything, having jobs has shown us that you can't rely on jobs because
Seriously,
because anything can happen. I mean, it's been a minute since we had a podcast update, but like Blue got randomly laid off, and it wasn't even one of them layoffs. Well, I'll let Blue tell the story, but it wasn't even one of them layoffs where it was like, by the way, we combine your department with another department. It was just random, like that's a segue for you, Blue. Just go ahead.
Yeah. Excuse me. So, so apparently, while I was at work, they got in all the directors in the company together. They didn't even know what was going on, mind you. And then, like, long story short, one by one, they were calling people into their VP of their department's office and just telling them that they're being let go. And my explanation, or the explanation that I was giving, was that they were cutting costs. And then that's when I checked in later, with my what's his name, with the director of my department, and he was saying, yeah, the information that he was told was just they were cutting heads in the company. They wanted less people working the board, so the people that pay the CEO, they said that they wanted less people working for whatever reason, and kept the open positions for each department to like a minimum. Like right now, there's only one tier 2 guy, one tier 1 guy. There's one person in development. There's two people in engineering. There's one CSM. There's like two people in marketing or whatever they do over there in sales. And like, oh, and one person in database. So they literally cut 9 of us within 30 minutes. Just told us they'd take our stuff and go. And of course, they gave us, the whole service package and all that good stuff. Oh, Jasmine hasn't been there 3. Yes, she has. I lied. Um, but yeah, so that's lit. Like, but I tell you, nobody knew. The VPs didn't even know that this was happening, and it literally just happened over a course of however many hours. And just like that, I think like 9 people were jobless. Just as easy as that. And the whole time while I was working there, I was talking, like, anytime me and my other coworkers were having conversations and whatnot, like the conversation of, job stability and whatnot, and like us just, well, my department just being like the frontline men, and how we're like expendable. Did I use the right word, expendable?
Yeah,
yeah.
it works
Yeah.
too.
Yeah, like we're just expendable, and like they could switch us out at just a drop of a dime. Like, my thought process on that was, like, I knew that they could, like, let us go for whatever reason. But in my mind, the only reason that they would do that is based off of underperformance or whatever the case may be. Just like with you, Black, when you were with your company that let you go, their explanation, or when they bring you in the office, what she told you that you were underworking or whatever the case may be, and you weren't showing much progression, or you were, not really doing as much as she needed you to do, and you seem unfocused and all that good jazz. Like,
Yeah, which even looking back, still just makes so little sense. Like, how do I have
yeah,
60% of the work queue and I'm teaching people how to do the job and I get my stuff in on time? But no, we actually don't think you're working hard enough. Really? Like,
yeah,
I'm not
like
trying to do this. I'm
reasons
sorry.
like that. Like that's what I was preparing myself for. Like I always told my director, like if there's at any point you see that I'm underperforming, just please let me know ahead of time so that I can work on it. Because I've been bullshit before and I've been cut because I couldn't perform as well as everybody else. So please just let me know so I can work on it. Now that was my whole mindset on being let go for any type of reason. Not this. This was different. I did not see that coming at all. And like I was just dumbfounded. But I mean once they handed me the papers, then it was just like, am I good? And I was like, I mean, yeah, I guess. I mean, this is what you guys are gonna do, and great working with y'all. And I
I
just
think
had to
that's
head out.
honestly one of the more frustrating parts too. Like, even when my boss decided to randomly fire me, which, as a side note to everybody, everything's apparently gone downhill since then, which is it shouldn't be funny, but it's definitely funny. But one of the things that she asked me, and it was just kind of like, really though, this is what you're gonna say? So when she was telling me that, oh, we feel like you've been underperforming since January, all that bull crap, and I was just sitting there, and like in my mind, I was like, okay, I'm gonna need to find a new job as soon as possible, or do something else as soon as possible. Like, I'm basically just trying to make a roadmap of where I'm gonna go from here, because I'm not about to argue with you. If you think that I'm not working hard enough when I know I am, and everybody that I works with know that I am, clearly there's another reason you're firing me, and I'm not about to blow up at you. I'm not going to give you that satisfaction. So I was sitting there basically quiet. And then when she was talking through whatever crap she was talking through, she stopped and she was like, well, you can say something. Are you okay? And I was like, did you? I'm good. Like, as you're telling me all these basically lies, you're going to stop and ask me if I'm okay? Really? Okay. That's, you got it. But I mean, it's one of those things where it's like the I personally feel like the culture, I guess you could say, of corporate America is dying. Like, and not just, and I'm not saying that like as a disgruntled millennial, whatever. Like, I genuinely think that it's an unsustainable system with the way that companies run themselves. Because you can't always say we want the best of the best of the best of the best. We want the number one talent from the number one schools, but we can't pay you. That
Which
that's
is
not gonna
which
that's
is
not gonna hold
another
up.
reason why that the job market really confuses me. Apparently, I had been a candidate. I was number 3 or number 4 or something like that. I was actually last in line to get my interview today at 4, and I was told by both my recruiters, like, they're looking for someone who's young, who's willing to learn new things, and someone who's like, who's got really great personality. I have all of those traits, not tooting my own horn, but apparently the end result, I actually got the feedback rather quickly. I do admire that employer for that, letting me know if I got the job or not immediately, pretty much. I do like that a lot. But
Yeah,
anyway, apparently the reason was because, someone had just a little bit more experience than you. I'm like, okay, so I'm a little confused because I fit your criteria. I knocked the interview out of the park, which they actually said, at the time when my recruiter contacted me. And it's like, these people who already have experience to do stuff, why aren't they already employed already? I don't get that. I mean, this person would have had to be, I would imagine this person would have easily had more years on me or something like that. Why don't people like that already have jobs? That confuses me. And it was this position was actually an entry level type job. The only thing I lacked was a bachelor's, but I had literally everything else, plus years of experience that pertain to it. And so I was a little confused, man, because I don't know, I hit all the checkpoints and still failed, and that is a bad feeling.
Yeah,
And
I mean, I was talking with Blue earlier, and like a similar situation is something that I've run into like 3 times now, actually, where I'll get in contact by a recruiter, or a recruiter will get back to me about a job. Side note: put when you put a job out there, if you're a recruiter or a company and you for some reason happen to listen to this, please put the estimated time of response on your jobs. I got contacted by a job that I applied to a month and a half ago. I don't remember you. Like, why are you acting like I just applied to you yesterday?
bro,
Like,
I hate
legit.
that so much. I got hit up by another company last week, and this guy's like, "Yeah, so we got your application." I'm like, "From where? What? I don't even remember this company." Like, I legit, he told me the company name, and I legit couldn't even remember if I applied to it or not. Like,
Right. And I mean that's what was crazy, because she was like, "Well, we got your resume, we got your application. I really like the way your resume looks." And I told her, I was like, "Well, I've actually updated my resume recently, so I don't know which one you have, but I can send you the updated copy." She's like, "No, this one is good." And then I asked her, I was like, "Okay, well, when did you receive my application? I'm sorry, like I'm really job hunting right now, so sometimes it all blurs together." She's like, "Oh yeah, we received your resume back in June," and I was like,
Yeah.
"What?" I mean, I'm not mad because at least we on the phone, but like, really, June? It took you 2 months to read a sheet of paper, and I'm not saying it actually took them 2 months to read a sheet of paper. You know what I mean? But it's like, just let people know how long you're expecting to take to go through this process.
that
But
makes you
anyway,
that makes you wonder too. Like, how many interviews are these people actually doing? You feel me? If
I
they're
don't know.
doing them at all,
Not
like.
enough.
Like, who wants to be sitting there doing like hundreds to even thousands of interviews, like for like months straight? I don't. That's stupid.
I mean, I don't get it, but like, so I was talking to Blue earlier, and one of the things that's happened to me like 3 times, like I said, is I'll be on the phone, I'll be talking with the recruiter or whoever at the job, and the conversation always starts the same. "Love the way your resume looks. It seems like this be a great fit for you." Then we start talking, and somehow they get a sudden bout of vicious amnesia, and they're like, "Well, I really love the way you interview. I love the way that you present yourself. I just don't know if you have the experience that we're looking for. Why the hell
Hate
did you call me?
that. Ugh.
Like, you have everything that I've talked about on the phone is in line with my resume. So if you put a job out there and you say 2 years of experience in this and a 4-year degree in this and this, and my resume meets that, but then we get on the phone, you can let me know up front, actually, the company, whoever has gotten back to us, they actually want somebody with X amount of experience. From there, it is your job as the employer/recruiter to let me know what the job requirements are. Because I sent my resume to you. I did my part. If you decide to call me, this is now an open field. This goes back and forth. So all of this, I really love the way that blah, 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 like all of this. I mean, there was one lady from last week who, this place was in Dunwoody. I've worked in Dunwoody. And at first she was like, "Well, I don't like." We currently live in Cherokee County, which is in North Atlanta City area. At first, she was like, "Well, I'm not really sure because the commute may be a lot for you." Um, and initially, I was like, "Well, commutes aren't a problem for me. I don't have a problem adapting my schedule to it. I worked in the Dunwoody area before. I see where your place is located. It's actually right by one of my previous jobs, so it wouldn't be an issue for me to commute there and be to work on time and make sure that I'm 100% all the time." And then it finally came out that she was saying, "Well, the salary that they were offering doesn't match with my qualifications." Just tell me that. Just tell me that they're looking for somebody with more experience, and tell me that from the jump. Don't have me on the phone for 45 minutes trying to talk myself up, trying to answer all these dumb questions that you're asking me. Not that she was a dumb person, just I'm frustrated. And all of this stuff, just for you to be like, "Well, I don't know." I mean, imagine if somebody did that to you when you were like dating or something. Imagine if you were going out with a girl, like you guys go on a date, she kisses you, like you guys have a great night, whatever the case may be, whatever you consider a great first date. And then the next day when you text her to try to schedule another date, it's like, "Well, I know we had the great kiss and dinner was amazing. And we have a lot in common. I just don't know if you're what I'm looking for in a boyfriend." Like, what the fuck?
Bro. Like,
Like,
no, let me give you even worse of a situation. Like, the date goes absolutely perfect, and she doesn't even like call or text back. Like
Right.
she just goes straight MIA. Even that's what some jobs do. Like I'm just throwing that out there. Some of y'all jobs are like that as well, and it drives me insane. And just like on the like the point you were trying to make, Joey, you know, they'll look at your resume, talk about, yeah, we need 4 years experience. Well, you only have 3.99 years experience, so we can't present you an offer. Like what?
It was crazy. So tell me why. I was on the phone with this is a different lady,
Dumbass
but she
reasons.
was saying like, well, we just want to make sure that you have experience writing professionally. And I was like, if you want to be technical, I've been writing professionally since my freshman year in college. I got like 80 plus articles with my name on it all over the internet because I needed to make money while I was in college and I wanted to get better as a writer throughout my time in college. It's just not on my resume because I'm not trying to have a 3-page resume talking about every little freelance job I've ever done. But I've been doing this since I was like 18. So let's not make it seem like I just stumbled into being a writer one day. and then she's going to say, well, I'm sorry, but you know, if your resume reflected that, I can make that argument for you. And I was like, have a great day. Like I can't,
bro.
And I think part of what it is that the job of a recruiter is not to understand the position that you're applying for. It's to try and basically connect the dots. And because I'm sure, TJ, you had this experience where like a recruiter will say something to you to the effect of, well, make sure the text on the job listing is matched on your resume. So if it says you are proficient in blah, 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 you have to basically almost copy paste that into your resume. Otherwise it won't be seen or whatever. Why am I working with you if you can't get my resume in front of these people? Like, don't tell me that I'm working with you for you to put my resume into some application processing file because I can do that myself. Like,
bro, let me tell you something that happened on Friday. Actually, I was talking to a recruiter for a company, and he couldn't even answer basic questions. Like, I just asked, you know, what types of systems do you guys actually use, and what kind of troubleshooting methods do you take to help out your colleagues? And he was like, man, I'll be completely honest with you, I don't even know. And so he was like, yeah, those would actually be better questions for the hiring manager. I'm like,
right?
Why not just let me speak to him or
let
her
me
first?
Talk to them.
Like, and I asked him a general question as well, like a super general question. You know, how do you measure success for this type of position? And again, I was referred. He was like, yeah, you might want to go on and ask the hiring manager for this because I don't really know. I'm like, come on, dude. Which also drives me insane, dude.
It's crazy, and it's frustrating when you know what you're talking about, but the person that's trying to get you in the door does not know what they're. I mean, imagine. And
I'm not saying that to bash recruiters. I'm just saying, like, y'all's practices are.
Yeah, it's just their job, but their job is kind of crappy by nature. Like, they're like a used car salesman who's never seen a car before.
Right.
I mean, like, real talk, because it's like, imagine if you go to a dealership and you're like, yeah, I'm looking for a sedan for my family. And they're like, okay, well, we have some great cars here. It's like, all right, well, I'm looking for something with at least 32 miles, 32 miles per gallon, blah, blah, blah. And they're like, okay, well, we have one with 4 doors. Like,
and I do want to.
Why are you here?
I do want to say that this does not pertain to all recruiters / headhunters. Some of y'all are the bomb. I have 2 of them, and they have been working with me for like a month now, and they are persistent. They check up on me. They follow up. All that jazz. So I have all-star recruiters. Some of y'all need some work. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah. It definitely can be a skill, like real talk, because it's not one of those things where you can just come out of college and be able to work with people. Like, you need to be able to learn about a job, understand it. I don't know. And back to what we were talking about earlier, like, it gets demoralizing because it's like, I know how good I am at what I do. I know down to the exact dollar figure how much I'm worth in terms of salary at this moment in time. I'll negotiate on that number, but that's really just to get me in the door.
For real. Oh, sorry to cut you off, Joey.
It's just frustrating because it's like you get this like mini strategy. Well, one, you don't even get a strategy guide when you get out of college, but people like you and I and TJ and Blue and everybody else, we've compiled this almost like strategic guide from either older people telling us or personal experiences of how this thing works. And then when we test it up against the real world, they're like, you did everything perfect except no. And it's just like, then
Bro, no, that's it's if they keep this chain going, this whole process or whatever, like we're eventually gonna get demoralized to the point to where we are literally putting on a mask just so we can be paid. Like that is gonna be our only legit reason for wanting to be with the company. It's not gonna be about culture and positivity and all that jazz anymore. It's strictly gonna be about making that paycheck because jobs have turned our backs on us. People aren't hiring. People are making so many promises and nothing is happening. So we're eventually gonna get numb and just say, fuck it. Like, I'm about to snake my way in here. I'm gonna make it so I can just work and get paid and just that's it. Like, there's nothing else. That's the only reason why I'm here. I don't plan on taking this company to the next level because I know what corporate America has beat me down. Like, and I'm tired of it. So,
yeah, and it's crap because then you end up. Honestly, that's like a microcosm of what happened at the first job I was at, where it's like, you guys, I'm not being rewarded for how hard I'm working to make things better here. Not just how hard I'm working at my job, but like, when my job is to come in at the most basic entry level, and within, I want to say 5 months, I've completely upgraded and revolutionized the way that we get document requests because I saw that it was inefficient and it was my job to deal with them. And I completely help overhaul the way that we store our documents because, again, saw that it was inefficient and people just didn't want to mess with it. So I decided in my spare time that I don't really have a lot of, I'm going to figure out if I can make this work. Take it to my supervisor. She says, this is a great idea. Keep working on it. And we get it all upgraded. To then be turned around and say, well, I don't think you're working hard enough. It's just like, why try?
Exactly,
like,
man.
If this is the reward I get, if I can make everything around me better and I get shut down with the you didn't do enough. No, it's that I did too much. And then you probably felt like I stepped out of line when I started asking for more, which is why millennials have this quote unquote culture of job hopping, because that's the way we grew up. We grew up in the era of not just the participation trophy, all that bull crap, which, by the way, parents had to make participation trophies. Ain't no 6-year-old out there on a soccer field trying to get a participation trophy. Like, just real talk. But the way we were raised was you can do anything you put your mind to and work smarter, not harder. The whole internet is about working smarter, not harder. It's about make the most efficient way to get whatever answer you need. Hence the reason Google is a multi-billion-dollar company, because they made it incredibly efficient to look for information. So when we come into a job and your company's been around for 55 years or however long, and you say, well, we keep all our stuff in this one system from 1998 because we're not sure what's going to happen if we move it. And I get on Google and I Google what happens when I move files from this system to this system. And someone tells me these things happen and this is the way you fix it. And then I do it. Yeah, I just cut out 12 hours of work per week. But then you fire me because you don't think I'm working hard enough? Like, I literally just made your company run better, but I appear lazy because now I'm running out of bullcrap menial tasks to do, because I don't feel like sifting through 3,000 documents a day when I can just write a program, copy a program, honestly, off the internet that does it for me in a millisecond. So it's not my fault that the internet and technology is leaving a lot of these companies behind, but that's what our generation is. We're riding a wave of the internet in the future, honestly. So it comes down to, like, why try? And then you get this reputation of being lazy, where it's like, well, millennials come on a job and they just don't want to work. Because when we work, we get shunned for it. So now I'm just trying to get this paycheck.
If we can get work, that is.
Right, if we get in the door in the first place.
Blue, you want to wrap us up, bro, or what's up?
I don't know, man. It's just crazy. Like, it kind of makes things hard. It especially makes things hard for me because now I just want to go up to, like, like recruiters and like like they're like any HR people, like any like time they like if I do go back into that interviewing process, or when I do go back to that interviewing process, and then they try to feed some bullshit like, yeah, you look like you're gonna be a great candidate, or we really like you and we know that you're gonna have the spot and shit like that. Like I just want to be like, yeah, we'll see when I actually sign the paper. Like let them
Exactly.
know, try to not gas me, because I'm like I'm tired of getting bullshit, and I've been bullshit for too long. And yes, I mean I understand that I can't be rude to recruiters, or not be too rude or whatever, but I I don't like to be bullshit probably just as much if not more than the next guy. So if I'm not gonna sit here and bullshit to you about what I'm doing on my resume, stop sitting here feeding me bullshit. If you
Right.
know that you're not gonna take me, don't take me. If there's a possibility that there's somebody else that you're gonna choose above me, don't keep telling me that I'm gonna get the job then. If I have certain requirements but I lack the experience, check my experience. You seen how long I've been doing this shit. It's like they ask for a date. When they ask for a date of where you've been working on resumes for a reason. So if you're gonna come out and talk some bullshit saying, yeah, we just need somebody with more experience, why the fuck did you call me then?
Thank you.
Sorry.
No, you're good.
Nah,
I was,
I mean, that's
bro.
what it is.
I was detaining myself this entire podcast. All that what I just said, that's me putting it nicely. So
Bruh, nah, that shit's fucking annoying as hell, yo. Like, at first I was fucking calm about it, and I'm like, yeah, it's whatever. But nah, that shit's pissing me off. And like, anytime, like, I was talking to a recruiter today about, a position that's going on, or like in Norcross and stuff like that. She said, all right, well, they do a lot of stuff with like finances and whatnot. And I was like, all right, well, I got a little bit of experience with the financing, the financing module when I was working on my previous job and whatnot. Ain't a lot because I don't know much about accounting. I don't know much about finances, but I've done something there. I've worked with customers and I've worked with software as a service. So I obviously have something. If you're gonna come out of nowhere, tell me some bullshit saying that you needed more experience, well, you could have just told my recruiter that, and my recruiter could have just told me that instead of going through this whole interviewing process. You could have saved us all a shitload of time and saved me a shitload of time. But I mean, like that's where that loyalty becomes really shaky
yeah,
because it's like how the fuck do I know that you're gonna sit here like I would have never thought they would have did that shit to me.
yeah. Me either.
Not that,
That seemed like the Halo job for you, bro.
Yeah, like,
bruh. Like it was legit. Everything else was great. Everything else was great. I was like, yo, this job is like a really good job, and I really like this job. I really like the people. I like the environment. I like the culture. I like this job. But then you pull this shit on me, bro. That's old. Like I can't go to any other company thinking that I'm gonna stay there.
Right.
I can't.
oh, those days are done. Like, and also another thing that pisses me off that you reminded me of, Blue. Why do all of these companies want somebody who already? I get you want somebody with experience with the style of work. If I'm applying to a company that is an air conditioning company and they're looking for a tech writer, and you're looking for maximum like 3 years minimum experience as a tech writer, why are you also looking for 10 years of experience with air conditioning?
Except like, what the fuck is this position?
Like, I'm not gonna have that. What the heck? Like, I'm a writer. My job is to come in and learn about it and do it. Not to, well, yeah, when I was in school, I actually went to school for air conditioner repair. I just happen to like writing. No,
Like who the fuck?
Bro, I'm
That's just
gonna
some
wrap this up.
crazy
We
stuff,
could
man.
do a part 2 on this, but I'm gonna go on and wrap this up real quick, man. Yeah, you guys can definitely follow the podcast. I don't even feel like saying the whole outro. Just look in the description. Everything is there. We out.